Welcome traders, and I want to take a look at the pound US dollar with these weekly pivots in mind. So the pound US dollar came down to 482, put in a 1 hour hammer, and has so far been holding this level here. So we ran up close to this area of resistance I've got marked here, pulled back to the trend line. The trend line is running from the high of the 21st, this test on the 23rd. So I'm long this going into tomorrow, holding overnight on the long, and looking to see if this weekly S1 can hold, and see if we can penetrate up through the weekly pivot and up to weekly R1 at just under 157. Okay, if not, that's alright. I will manage my stop and see how we go. If you look at the daily here on the right, assuming we hold here, we end up with this key level holding here with a bottoming tail. So if we can break 156 tomorrow, we could go to 157 and above. So I'm not anticipating, I'm not trying to picture the trade. I'm not suggesting that it's definitely going to go up there. I'm just buying these support levels, buying these key pivots, and holding over, managing my stop, and staying in the trade as long as I can to give it as much time as possible to work its way up, assuming that's what it wants to do. But this, if you look at this daily, you've got the 50 to 200, the 50 to 100 and the 200 all underneath here, and the 100 and 200 across down here on the 16th of August. So, and then we've got the monthly R1 sitting here. So lots of reasons to be bullish. We just need this to break above this area of resistance here and hold into the Asian session, and then try and break up into the Euro session with Mark Carney, Bank of England Governor, speaking. Obviously there's money to be made on the short, so let's just go back, let me go back to that pound US dollar. There's money to be made on the short in the Euro session, because we looked as if we were holding this trend line into the open of the FTSE Open of the Forex session, but it was a seller's buy, was a lower close, and then pull back into that area of resistance, was sold into to see us come down to this area of support. You can't see that. This area of support. So let's see what happens. Am I going to get stopped out of that one, or is that one going to hold up into the Asian session and go? Similar story for the a much weaker story, I should say, for the pound yen. A few blue bars in there, but it just wouldn't do it. So here we are back down on the daily 100. Obviously I'm long the pound US dollar, so I'm just going to leave this one and see where it wants to go. That's a nice little hammer there with divergent RSI there, so that could work its way up into the start of the Asian session. Quite tight stop line as well. Your stop just needs to be under that 150.70, and that may climb up from that. And let's have a look at the other charts. The Euro is really slow, but it is grinding up. We've now got a hammer on the 8. We had a hammer on the 8 last week as well. Really tight range. And if you look at this 60-minute chart on the weekly pivots, so we dropped down to this massive support of 133.30, broke through the weekly pivot, and we're holding it. If we can now hold this trend line, we could get back up to 13450. But yeah, a bit of a hammer-like bar here at 2 o'clock. So not similarities to the pound in some ways, in the way we've broke up through a trend line and we're holding the trend line on tests. Not a lot else to show you. The Forex was generally pretty quiet apart from that sell-off, selling in the Euro session. So a little bit of a hammer here in the Aussie US, but we just can't get above that monthly pivot at 90.60. We just can't get above the 8, so it's extremely weak. All the time we're like that, we could just drop out. Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD, so we had a reversal bar up there yesterday underneath the 50 EMA, so very nice bearish consolidation. Not a huge drop, but a drop nonetheless. Yeah, that started to sell in the US session yesterday, and we got some follow through. And so let's look at the Dow. So on the Monday, we just kept testing this resistance area here and just started to sell. So if you've got short up there on the back of that, got divergent RSI, a lot of topping tails, so nice clear signal on the Monday. So that's a pity. That's the price you pay for having a bank holiday if you're a Brit. As for today was quite tricky. It did bump into 900 and sell, but if you weren't at your screen at the time, that was a bit tricky. It was the 3 o'clock normal reversal time, and here we are. You can just see we've got a lot of support here, but that 200 EMA is sitting down there, and I'm looking for that to be tested tomorrow. Oil has had a massive day, as you probably already know. So that is a pullback now. Got invents tomorrow. That's a pullback at 107.40. Let me put an alert on that. So that's the Sunday open high where I put my alert. I would very much like to buy that if I get the opportunity. Sorry, what did we say about the Dow? Obviously we've got an hour for the Dow to go. If we start to close, if we close here or lower, I would try and short this resistance area here at 149 again. I'll set an alarm on that, 149, 14,900 should say. And 1490. And see if that can drop down below that 200, or at least test the 200. Okay, nothing else to report. Let's look at the US dollar CAD actually. Bullish consolidation, just needs to test this support area. So 104.50, which is a weekly pivot. Let me put an alarm on the weekly pivot, because that is a buy down there. Okay, quick look at stocks. Premier Foods is still stomping away. If you're not in that, I would, with that sort of gap up there, I would stay out of it if you are not in that one. Rolls-Royce, is struggling. There's a decent amount of support down there. We could come down and test. We've been testing it a few times last week as well. Struggling, really struggling. If that comes down and tests that 200 EMA, I would be a buyer down there. So 1083 is my alert. See how it failed the monthly pivot? Domino Pizza is doing okay. Are you sure? Not just about hanging in there on that monthly S3. Tele City. Ooh, nasty. Drop through. Okay, I'll leave it there and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.